Hello Year 8. This term for Big Ideas, we are looking at the question, how can we communicate? What I'll be doing today is talking you through the task sheet and marking rubric for this term's assessment. So I'll help you by reading it to you and explaining it to you. So it says, this term in Big Ideas, you're going to be working towards learning another language. For your assessment, your task is to teach another person how to speak that language. Your job is going to be to film your lesson and upload it to Google Classroom. Your lesson should last for approximately 10 minutes. So you, by this point, will know which language you are learning. You'll have spent a whole term learning that language yourself. Towards the end of the term, your job is going to be to show what you have learned by helping someone else communicate in that language. When you start thinking about this assessment, you should start by filling in these questions on the task sheet. So you'll see there's a space to write in what language you are learning. There's a space to write in who you'll teach your language to. Now, if we're still in isolation, that's obviously going to need to be somebody at your house, or maybe you can get creative, teach someone via a video call. Really important that you're teaching the language to someone who does not know this language already. So if your mum is fluent in Spanish, there's no point you teaching her how to say hello in Spanish. You are not helping that person learn anything. You need to then go on and write a learning intention for your lesson. So the same way your teacher would show your learning intention at the start of the lesson, you need to figure out, what do I want my student to learn by the end of my lesson? So for example, do you want that your student can say, I can identify the meanings of 10 words in Italian. And then you might go on and say what those 10 words are that they're going to learn. Your learning intention could be, I can conduct a conversation in Italian, or I can introduce myself in Italian. Whatever it is, make sure that you know what it is you want your student to learn. Then you need your success criteria for the lesson. Do you want your student to have completed a worksheet? Do you want your student to have drawn some pictures with new words around them that they've learned? How is your student going to show that they have met the learning intention? What specific words and concepts do you want your student to know by the end of the lesson? And how will you know if that student has achieved success? All right, your last question is, what resources will you use while teaching this lesson? So you think about, how can you be as creative and effective as possible in conducting your lesson? Think about all the wide variety of resources that your teachers use when teaching you. Think about the ones that you find the most engaging, the ones that you find help you to learn the most. I mean, a lot of us are very comfortable with just making a keynote or just making a Google Slides. A lot of us think, let's do something fun, let's put in a Kahoot. But is that really going to be the most effective way for you to teach? Is that going to be the most creative way for you to teach? You are going to be marked on how creative and how effective your choice of resources are. Think about when you're in a lesson, do you like it if your teacher's just talking from their keynote for the whole lesson? Is that going to be an effective way to learn? Or do you need a nice mix of activities? Nice mix of opportunities to speak, opportunities to listen. Really important you think about that. All right, so that's your planning for your lesson. Then your job will be to create your lesson, deliver it, and upload it. When your teachers get around to marking your assessment, these are the things that we will be marking you on. So the first criterion is creativity. If you would like to score a proficient, which is 5 out of 5 in this criterion, you should create an original final product, which is your lesson and your resources, that uses a wide variety of creative resources. Your lesson should be engaging and inspiring. So we're not going to see you there reading for 10 minutes from some notes. We want to see that your learner is engaged, that your learner is interested. We want to see that you use a wide variety of creative resources. That means using more than one resource in your lesson. Also, making sure you have been creative in your choice of resources, not just getting them maybe to write on a blank piece of paper for 10 minutes. You can do better than that. All right, criteria number 2 is communication. To get 5 out of 5 for communication, you need to make smart choices from a full range of communication modes and tools. So think about the different ways someone can communicate. They can communicate verbally through speaking. They can communicate in a written form, writing down. Maybe they can communicate in a technological audio-visual form through video or through displaying something on a screen. Maybe they can communicate more kinesthetically, so using their body. Your teachers don't just stand in the one spot the whole lesson with their hands by the sides. Your communication should be clear so that your learner understands you. That means we're not muttering, we're not stumbling over our words. Hopefully, we're speaking in a way that's easy to understand. And your communication should help others to flourish as learners. There's no point your teacher speaking really beautifully if your students don't understand what you're saying, or they're not interested in what you're saying because maybe you're speaking very monotonously. So think about your communication choices and your communication style. Your last criterion is citizenship. Now, remember, citizenship is about understanding our role in the world. So your lesson should help you demonstrate your understanding of your role as a global citizen. We know that we're not just Miss Gray who lives in Perth. I am a citizen who has responsibilities, who has a role to play in my community, in my nation, in the whole world, in order to try to make the whole world a better place. So we are marking you on whether it looks like you understand your responsibility as a global citizen. We know that around the world we have many diverse cultures, we have many diverse languages and diverse people. So the purpose of learning a new language is partly to promote a respect for diversity, is partly to help us engage respectfully and enthusiastically with other languages and cultures. So, does your lesson show that you think maybe Russian is a really interesting language? Does it show that you have a real understanding and appreciation of their culture? I mean, if you want to get down here, maybe you're making fun of their culture. Maybe you are talking about how weird the words are. Maybe you're sort of glossing over words instead of speaking them confidently. Maybe you're showing you don't really know anything about the cultures that this language comes from. So to get up here, you need to show that you understand the role of language and your role as a teacher of language in promoting diversity and respect for cultures and languages around the world. All right, so this lesson we marked out of 15. You know that these are the steps you need to go through in your planning. You need to choose your resources, create your resources, deliver your lesson, upload it to Google Classroom, and then make sure you have checked your lesson to see that it fulfills each of these criteria, and you are going to get 5 for each one.